Hi traders, welcome to our weekly top-down analysis. So for this episode, we are beginning with Volatility 101S. And as always, we begin analyzing from the weekly time frame. So from the weekly time frame, we can see that price is reacting from this supply zone. And then down here, we have our demand zone. Therefore, our bias is very clear from the weekly time frame. We are going to be looking for selling opportunities until this demand level. Now heading over to the daily time frame. So from the daily time frame, we have this break of structure right here. So we have a break of structure. And then the other block which caused this internal break of structure is this other block that we'll be targeting. So we have an internal break of structure right there. So we have a break of structure. And then the other block which caused the break of structure is that other block. And then we have a swing low here. And then that's pretty much it from the daily time frame, heading over to the 4 hours time frame. Adjusting our order block, it's going to be at this level. Adjusting our break of structure, it's going to be that break of structure. And then we can see that price has swapped the liquidity that was seated here, the trend line liquidity, swapped the liquidity, and then tapped into our order block, and then we got a push to the downside. However, the sell is not yet complete. Price went back in to go tap in it from the tweezer top. It's still pushing. And then we have this break of structure right there. And then the other block which caused that break of structure from the 4 hours time frame, it is that other block where price tapped in and we are getting a bearish engulfing. And then heading over to the 1 hour time frame. So from the 1 hour time frame, order block is going to be at that level. We can see price just stepped into our order block. Price just stepped into our order block and we are getting a push to the downside. Now, since this move is already happening, let's go down to the 30 minutes and see if we can get an entry. Now we can see a break of structure here. And then the order block, which caused that break of structure. It is this order block. Now we can go ahead and place our sell limit with the following coordinates. Now go ahead and place a sell limit on volatility 101S with your entry price at 1423.36, stop loss at 1443.33, and then your first take profit at 1372.85, second take profit at 1299.83, and always apply proper risk management. So we are waiting for a retracement into that order block, and then can get a move to the downside like that since our bias is bearish. Now heading over to volatility 100. There is our demand zone, and then our supply zone is right there. Now, if we are to zoom in, we can see the buyer stepped into this demand zone. They tried to push the price up. However, they did not have enough momentum, and the seller stepped in at this point by forming a bearish engulfing. Therefore, my buyers, I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities to the downside because the buyers, they did not have enough momentum to keep pushing price up, and the seller stepped in. So we have a break of structure right here, a break of structure to the downside. The break of structure, and then the order block which caused the break of structure. It is this order block on the daily time frame. Heading over to the 4 hours time frame. From the 4 hours time frame, adjusting our break of structure. It's going to be at that level. And then our order block, adjusting it to the 4 hours. It's going to be at that level. That's pretty much it from the 4 hours time frame. Heading over to the entry time frame, which is our 1 hour. So our break of structure from the 1 hour is going to be at that level. And then our order block is going to be at that level. Right there. And then price just swap the liquidity which was sitting here, the trend line liquidity. Now it's heading over to our order block. Now let me go ahead and place the coordinates for the sell limit. Now you can go ahead and place a sell limit on the volatility 100 with your entry price at 670.78, stop loss at 701.95, and then your take profit at 581.26, and always apply proper risk management. Therefore, this is what you are expecting for price to go and tap into the order block, and then you can get confirmation candlesticks at that order block. And then we're going to push the price down because the bias is bearish. Moving over to step index. Step index from the weekly time frame, step index is bearish as we are forming lower lows and lower highs. Now from the weekly time frame, we have a break of structure here. And then the order block, which caused the break of structure from the weekly time frame. This way price stepped in, it formed the tweezer top, and we are getting a push to the downside. So on step index, our bias from the weekly time frame is very clear. We are in a bearish trend, and that is the most recent break of structure, and price stepped in and formed a tweezer top. Now we're going to be looking for selling opportunities until this demand zone. Moving over to the daily time frame. From the daily time frame, we have a change of character right there. We have a change of character, and then the order block which caused the change of character is that order block right there. It is that order block, and then heading over to the 4 hours time frame. So from the 4 hours time frame, what change of character is going to be at that level? with our order block. With our order block at that level right there. And then down here, we have a support level. And then I'm seeing all this liquidity that price has to clear. I'm seeing all this as liquidity that price has to clear. And then heading over to our entry time frame, which is the 1 hour. So I'm seeing this as liquidity that price has to clear to go and tap into my order block and then expect a move to the downside, because I can see there's a lot of liquidity that is sitting here at this level. If price will break this support level to the downside, then I'll continue with the move. However, as long as price is still above this support level, then I'm only going to be selling step index at that order block. And then for VIX 75, I've already analyzed it. I don't want the video to be very long. VIX 75 is in a downtrend. The overall trend is bearish, and you can only look for buying opportunities. However, right now you can buy the retracement until at that level, and then look for selling opportunities when price gets this level. All right, traders, that's it for this episode. If you did find the episode helpful, consider subscribing to the channel and become part of the family. And happy trading. See you next week.